behavior patterns that are detrimental, in my opinion, to society, at least on some level.
Yeah, and Damon, to that end, I think one of the things that we should talk about is like the incentives in place here, right? Is it's the way the welfare system was structured was that there's an incentive for single motherhood, right? Because if you have the other parent in the household, it is more difficult to get that. And that's one of the things I ended up talking. I ended up talking about the welfare cliff and some other disincentives in there too, to be able to get in the system. So, let's talk about like the social welfare system first, and then we'll talk about like the corporate welfare and that type of stuff too. But the social welfare system, it's designed, at least in my opinion, to keep people in poverty, to keep people dependent. Do you agree with that, or do you think it's better intention than that?
No, I believe it's what you said is spot on. And I believe that whenever we get to having this conversation, the problem with the political discourse in America is people get emotional, right? Rather than use logic and reason. And logic and reason is how you get to the solutions. Whenever you talk about single parenthood, you've got people who take offense and say, well, I was raised by a single mother and I turned out fine. Or you have a single parent themselves who says, well, I'm not bad, blah, blah, blah. We're not talking about the people who are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Single parenthood is not supposed to be casting aspersions on every single body that's a single parent. What we're talking about when we use it as a negative connotation is the people who are making the issues that are making society worse off. The women that have multiple kids by multiple guys that use, like Tim said, the court system as their de facto paycheck. So whenever they pop babies out, they're using the court system to get in the guy's pockets and get, society does not win in that scenario. And then furthermore, my grandmother on my father's side, she was a single mother of 3 children. And I can remember vividly, my uncle told me this is like 20 years ago. I'll be 42 this year. So this is quite a long time in the making. So 20 years ago, he told me that 20 years prior, so we're talking 40 years ago, my grandmother, who again was single, raising 3 kids, didn't depend on welfare. She basically did what everybody says to do and work hard and did what she needed to do. When she would get her hair done, there'd be women at the beauty shop saying, hey, why are you working so hard? You can just get on welfare or whatever. So this is a multi-decade problem in the making, where women that were dependent upon the system then have children early, and they let their little daughters think, hey, well, this is all I know. So therefore, generation after generation keeps seeing this. And how do we get better if all they've seen is that irresponsible lifestyle? And then the feminist movement has told women that you can do whatever you want, and then there's no consequences. So they're basically living the dream. They can do whatever they want. They can have the sexual liberation that feminism told them they can have, but they don't take the responsibility that comes along with that.
Right. Liberty requires responsibility, right? Like that's, you have the freedom to do that stuff, but then you need to face the consequences, good and bad, for that thing. And again, with this, the way I see it is that we end up getting it so that people who become dependent on the system miss opportunities to grow wealth in 2 different ways. One, if you are incentivized to not work, to not participate in the economy because you are getting all these incentives from the government to not do so. The problem is that you never build the skills, build the employment history, build the network to be able to grow your wealth for you and your family and your children long term. So that's number one. And again, the other incentive is that there's a big correlation. Again, not that there's anything wrong with single mothers who are doing a great job, like raising their kids and working hard for that. But there is a correlation between 2-parent households and long-term like wealth and success for that family too. And again, the government disincentivizes that in this situation. So we have 2 big problems here.
Absolutely. And I think also too, whenever you have any program, whether it's government, whether it's on the private side, you've got to have, what is the end game? And with social welfare, there is no end game. It's just a perpetual, hey, no matter how many kids you have, we'll keep giving you money, blah, blah, blah. But if there's never a cutoff, then the irresponsible people make it worse for everybody. And that's true of anything. Whenever you have, good people doing the right thing, you've got 1 or 2 idiots. They're going to mess it up for everybody. Now the rules are created to curtail the idiots, and now the good people are they're the ones left holding the bag. And so the problem is the irresponsible women are the ones who are milking the system dry. And I've seen, firsthand experience, the quote unquote responsible single mothers who are trying to, let's say, go back to school, get a job or whatever. They make just enough money to where they don't qualify. So they're the ones who technically should be able to get on it to kind of get themselves a leg up. But the women who are milking the system have perfected the system of just basically not doing anything at all, or doing the bare minimum while leeching off of the system, whether it's Section 8, whether it's food stamps, whether it's, Medicaid or whatever. They're leeching off of the system, and it screws everybody else who's trying to work and do things, quote unquote, the right way.
Yeah, no, and excellent points. And you kind of started to touch on like some of the welfare cliff issues that we had talked about before. So we'll continue to talk about this. We have Damon Kennedy from the Liberty Show, and also Tim O'Connor on the line too, calling in remotely. Thanks again for joining us on A Free Solution. We're going to be back in just a few minutes.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
The Finger Lakes Castle team is in its 7th decade of factory direct service to the service professional. From cleaning the ins and outs of your vehicle to keeping you on the road, Castle's got you covered. Castle makes streak-proof glass cleaner, FDA-registered sanitizers, and EPA-registered hospital-grade disinfectants. Remember, when you need to keep it clean, use what the pros use. Castle, accept no substitutes.
Castle keeps it clean.
A message from the National Police Association. It used to be that any able-bodied person would offer to assist a police officer in danger. Now, passers-by are more likely to take a video. There's a better use for your phone when an officer's in trouble. Call 911. Tell the operator where you are and what you see. Then, start your video to provide evidence later. To learn more about how you can assist law enforcement, visit nationalpolice.org. That's nationalpolice.org.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
A free solution.
All right, welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Thanks again for joining us. We have Damon Kennedy from the Liberty Show on today to talk about welfare. We also have Tim O'Connor, our normal Friday co-host, on the line as well. And speaking of Tim's too, shout out to one of our listeners today, Tim Smith, who is often on the show for the Liberty Show, once a month shows that we do here. He's listening today, so shout out to you. He says, shout out to the Royal Liberty family. Thanks for listening today, Tim.
I love it. So listen, guys, I feel like I got to jump in. I grew up in the 70s. I'm in my 50s. My mom was a single mom. My dad was not a great guy, was not a good human being. At that time, guys, and even as a libertarian, there's something appealing about a social safety net. We were very poor. I grew up incredibly poor. My mom was trying hard to acquire skills. She was, changing jobs, working hard, going to work, trying to find care for us. And all of those things created this obvious need of a tiny little bit of support that we didn't have it from our family. We didn't have it from my father. And so there was a time in the 70s where these things were impossible to deal with. We had kids, for real starving, not make pretend starving, for real, like disincentivized, like participation in life. Our choices were very limited for a long time. And so even as a libertarian, that situation was very challenging for us. But what I think has happened, and guys, follow me along with this pendulum swung. My mom was literally at the forefront of the aid-dependent children situation in our part of New York State. Like she was regularly interviewed for newspaper articles and stuff like that. She's very well spoken. She's done a wonderful job with her life, coming from these challenging situations of having two sons who we had to be overwhelming. We were high energy kids. So she's done a wonderful job with that. But this pendulum of, oh my God, someone like Tim's mom could use a little bit more help that didn't make her feel guilty and didn't make her feel awful about herself and didn't feel incredibly invasive. Like aid was very hard to get back then. But now it's gone so far in the other direction that we've just simply created this cliff where people, if they get a job, like Damon was saying before the break, if they get a job, they lose access to a myriad of benefits that if we had a freer society, guys, yes, I think that we would be able to take care of each other better. We'd be able to participate with charity. We'd be able to participate better in institutions that prop people up instead of tearing them down, instead of preventing them from achieving some measure of success. But I wanted to get that out there, and I wanted to give my mom a shout out for coming through that system at a much rougher time, in a way making it better for a lot of people. But now here we are staring at it basically as a train wreck, right? I think Damon assesses it accurately. There is people that game the system. There's people that say, why are you working so hard when all you have to do is do this? And those people, the people saying that now, work in those systems, and they're explaining people's options to them. So if you go to a welfare counselor now, they'll tell you, God, you don't want to get a part-time job right now. You need to have no money for the next 6 months, period. And then we are going to prop you up, and we're going to start propping you up right now. But if you make any money in the meantime, you lose access to all your benefits, and you're going to get accused of welfare fraud. So what's the libertarian solution to this, guys? I mean, it's a challenge for sure.
Yeah, and just real quick, those folks are making rational choices, right? Like if you're going to lose potentially thousands of dollars because you get a part-time job, the rational choice is to not get a part-time job. It's to stay in that system, because like in the short term, that is a legitimate threat to the health, safety, and nutritional needs of your family, right? So Damon, I'll let you jump in and respond to what Tim had to say there.
Oh, I totally agree with that. The fact that, and this kind of dovetails into what we were going to talk about a little bit later on, but when it comes to the corporate welfare side of it too, you've got the Walmarts of the world. And I think on the last podcast that we had on the Liberty Show, that was one of the things that we addressed, is that Walmarts and the McDonald's, the ones that pay essentially minimum wage, they can get away with that because they pay low enough to where those people qualify for benefits. Where if we're talking about all of the help wanted signs out today, if you go to a fast food restaurant, they say help needed. But surprisingly, supply and demand applies to everything, with the exception of a lot of these positions, because a lot of these positions, they don't want to pay any more money. So the $15 minimum wage that a lot of leftists talk about, let's throw that out the window for now. And let's just use simple supply and demand. Let's say if you're trying to pay somebody $7.25 an hour and you say, I can't find anybody. Well, have you tried to raise the wage? And now necessarily you're going to hire less people, but hopefully you're going to get a higher quality person by giving a higher wage. Now that's the conundrum that people they forget about. If you raise the minimum wage, you're going to be able to hire less people, because a lot of people think that business owners are just sitting on piles of cash, and every business is not like that. Yes, Walmart, yes, McDonald's are large multi-billion-dollar corporations, but if you make a minimum wage $15 an hour, then the small mom and pop shop, now he's got to make a determination. Okay, do I take this burden all on myself, or can I hire somebody in there? Because if I'm guaranteed to have to pay this person $15 an hour, I may not be able to hire them. Or if I can hire them, I can only hire them for a few hours a week, in which case it may not make sense for them, and therefore the cycle keeps repeating itself. But going back to the large corporations, they can get away with paying people low wages because they don't care if the person qualifies for benefits. Able to double dip, because what Walmart does a lot of times is they accept food stamps. So
I think you might be getting cut off a little bit there, but yeah, I think the point that you were trying to make was that, you know, some of these companies, places like Walmart, McDonald's franchisees, things like that, they're paying low enough and distributing hours like few and far between enough. So if you're only getting a couple hours a week and you're getting minimum wage at that those folks who are working those jobs still are making so little money that they're able to then qualify for things like food assistance and rental assistance and things like that. They're still so far below the poverty line that they're able to do that. So in essence, the left-wing critique of these companies and the welfare system generally is that companies like Walmart essentially get subsidized because they can pay their workers little, and then these workers then qualify for benefits, so they don't have to pay their workers enough to actually get them to want to work for them and to be independent and to be out of that system.
Yeah. Walmart takes an unemotional, economically analytical look at every single piece of our society, right? So let's say in my local community, Walmart exists right next to a trailer park that's been historically known for low income people. That is a supply of labor for them. They gear their pay strategy to provide those people the feeling of maximum benefit, right? So they have a labor supply. They do it on purpose. It's an amazing bit of logistics, if you will, but it's also like, because they have no soul, they don't tie it to the reality that they're taking advantage of the system, or perhaps even worse, they do, and they do it completely on purpose.
Yeah, and you know that's part. Again, I don't know enough about how the finances and the incentives of Walmart works. You know, I've seen it happen in like fast food places, but like you do have to wonder like how much of this is on purpose and how valid is this critique. And then if it is a valid critique, again, do we punish the places like Walmart and fast food places, things like that, for offering low wages? Do we raise the minimum wage? We force a new floor, which, you know, would hurt a lot of small businesses? Or do we rewrite the laws to eliminate some of these bad incentives for companies to act this way? And I'm kind of incentive based, both on the social welfare side and the corporate side. I think people act rationally given the options you offer to them. So I think we have Damon back too, so I'll let you keep going.
Yeah, where'd I leave off, man? I'm sorry. My internet dropped for a second.
It happens. So we had started talking about some of the corporate welfare stuff and how you know, they're able to go with low wages and kind of forces people to still be dependent on the system.
Yeah, and also too, Amazon, which is probably the biggest. I mean, they've got to be one of the largest corporate welfare pilferers on this earth. And one of the things is, I used to work at Amazon, so I can kind of tell you from inside information on this company. Most companies, they put out information that say, we care about our employees, we love our employees. They put out puff pieces to make you want to work there. And when you get there, it's like, man, it's not really what I signed up for, blah, blah, blah. Amazon doesn't even make any pretense to care about their employees. And they've actually said straight up that they want people to leave.
That's interesting. You know, I would have to hear. I know some friends who've worked for Amazon with Amazon. I'd have to ask them like how they feel about that, how they they feel they're treated as an employee of that company. All right, so thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solution. Again, we're joined by Damon from the Liberty Show and also Tim O'Connor, the Normal Friday co-host. We're going to be back with more on A Free Solution in just a few minutes.
Fly the flag, stand for freedom.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the News 10 NBC forecast on WYSL. For the day today, high temperature of 86 degrees. Could feel like the low 90s out there during the afternoon. Partly cloudy skies expected with a chance for an isolated thunderstorm during the afternoon. And there will be the chance for some showers and storms overnight tonight as well. Showers and storms this afternoon and overnight tonight could produce some strong gusty winds. Low temperature tonight of 65 degrees. Going into Saturday, shower possible early with sunshine in the afternoon, high of 75. I'm meteorologist Alex Bielfeld on your WYSL station.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Do you, like many business owners, feel your business is your other child? You started it, worried when things weren't well, watched it grow, proud of its successes, and now the business is running well. So you start to think, how am I going to transfer this business and make sure I get the most value for it? Who am I going to sell it to? Family, key employees, favorite competitors? What's my business worth? What kind of payment terms am I going to get? What are the tax implications and business agreements I need? What's going to be the impact for me and my family? I'm Alan Ginsberg of the A.M. Ginsberg Advisory Group. We work with many business owners regarding business continuation plans. We'll be glad to sit down and discuss your situation and look at the options that you may have available. Call my office at 585-377-4720. If you start to think about it, don't wait till the last minute.
Securities offered through Securities America, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Securities America Advisors, Inc., A.M. Ginsberg Advisory Group, and Securities America Companies are separate entities.
Springwater Amish Workshop reminds you, backyard storage sheds and gazebos are their business. They're here to help you enhance your outdoor spaces and stash your stuff. Springwater Amish Workshop backyard sheds feature double plywood gussets for strength, 16-inch on-center rafters, exterior-grade plywood floor, aluminum soffit fascia and drip edge, and 30-year warranted architectural shingles. Choose from a variety of exterior, shingle trim, and shutter colors. You can have vinyl siding, board and batten, or smart siding, warranted for 50 years against rot, delamination, or mildew. Have your windows and doors placed where you want them. And if you want a gazebo, Springwater Amish Workshop has a truckload arriving and a variety of styles with your choice of screened or not. Be sure to shop their selection of lawn furniture, windmills, and lighthouses. Springwater Amish Workshop, 7936 Route 15 Springwater, open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit SpringwaterAmishWorkshop.com or visit them on Facebook. Call 585-669-9710.
Summertime means a world of summer fun with a little help from Victor Chevrolet. Pursue the possibilities of summer in your 2021 Equinox all-wheel drive LS. Lease it for just $249.95 per month for 39 months. Or enjoy the versatility of the tough and roomy 2021 Trailblazer LS front-wheel drive. Lease for only $159.95 a month for 39 months. You could haul plenty of people and cargo in your 2021 Chevy Silverado 1500 LT double cab pickup. Lease for just $379 a month for 39 49 months. All these deals include all applicable factory rebates, incentives, and discounts. 10,000 miles per year, 25 cents for each additional mile. $2,500 cash or trade. First payment, tax, acquisition, bank, and DMV fees due at signing for all leases. Lessee responsible for repair and maintenance. Security deposit is waived. Must have existing lease and household. Tier 1 credit approval required. All deals end August 31st, 2021. Don't forget, Victor Chevrolet needs your trade. Find new roads at Victor Chevrolet, Route 96 in Victor. Visit victorchevrolet.com.
Emani, time for school, baby. Emani, time for school. Emani, it's time.
A different couch, a different floor, the backseat of a car. Over 2,000 Rochester school-aged children are homeless, but now there is hope. The Open Door Mission Cold Water House for moms and their children. opendoormission.com/doves.
A free solution.
Welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Thanks again for joining us. We're live here on WYSL till 1 p.m. Can't call in today because we have Tim O'Connor on the line, as well as Damon Candy on the internet. Damon Candy from the Liberty Show talking welfare today. Shout down the line to our friends listening over at WACK out in New York, though, and all of our friends listening online on the Free Solution Facebook page, a Free Solution, the YouTube channel, and both of the Kevin Wilson pages and the Tim O'Connor pages. We're all over the place here today. Thanks for listening, wherever you're at. And again, leave your comments. We're live here until 1 p.m. We're talking about welfare. We've been talking about corporate welfare because, well, you know, it's important to talk about both, right? Like we talked about social welfare, we talked about corporate welfare. They're both massive money generating systems that, again, I feel have bad incentives that keep people in these systems. Both corporations, you know, you can assign bad motive to either group, but I think the incentives are there to keep people in the system, to keep spending money and keep people dependent on these systems and voting for politicians and supporting politicians who keep doling out the cash. Now, this is a free solution. Since we've talked about these kind of two elements of welfare, let's talk about what some solutions might be too. Like where do we go for this? How do we make a system that is better? I mean, we could eliminate it altogether. We could change the incentives. So, Damon, we'll start with you though. What does that look like? How can we do better here?
Well, we can start off on the social welfare side. I think that once started off as a social safety net is turned into a hammock, and I think there's got to be a limit to what the government is saying they can provide for. Because if you make it to where it's open-ended, where a woman can have, you know, additional benefits for every child she gets, for those the most irresponsible in our society, they figure, well, why stop at one child? I can have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different kids. But the system has to let you know in no uncertain terms that, look, we're only going to provide for 2 or whatever the number is. We can have people smarter than me crunch the numbers, but there's got to be a cutoff to where after a certain number of children, then the system cuts you off. And so at that point, it can be known up front. That way we can't say, well, it's going to harm people. There's going to, you know, everybody always wants to talk about what about the children whenever we try to cut any sort of government program. But as long as it's known in advance before the change is made, then the women who have been told by the feminist movement for years and for decades now that, you know, they can do anything a man can do, they can do all these great things. Well, that's cool. But just like you want to say, I can control my body. Well, let's put that to the test. If we're saying that you can only get benefits up until 2 children, that's it, then stop at 2 kids if you can't support them. Because there are wealthy people who only have 1 child, if they have any at all. And then you've got, you know, poor folks who have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different kids. And we insult people's intelligence when we act like they don't know where babies come from. You know what I mean? Okay, so let's say you have 1 child. Okay, I got it. Cool. Okay, you know, there are a lot of women out there who feel they made a mistake, and you don't want to call a child a mistake, but, you know, let's be honest about it. Once you have brought a child into the world, you figure I can't support that child. What makes you think that I need to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more different kids, and you don't have any income to support them? So again, there are people that make 6 figures that don't have that many kids. Because
and real quick too, you know, we also now have a new temporary federal program that will also provide a monthly stipend based on the number of children that you have. Now, if you think this is temporary, well, y'all haven't been paying attention. This is the prelude to a permanent UBI-based program based on the number of children you have. And again, it provides bad incentives, right? Like, again, the responsible thing to do is to only have the number of kids that you can, financially take care of. And if you provide incentive to get more revenue in your house from the government, then that's a problem. And I also want to get to a comment too. Dorian says, but half the time people that really need it can't get it. That is another problem too, is to stop fraud. We have created so much bureaucracy in place that it is work to get on these systems. Sometimes it becomes like almost a full-time job to participate in the social welfare state. Which again provides further incentive if you then don't have time to build your skills, look for new jobs, and work enough hours to be able to move away from that system. That is another problem with that. So Doreen, thank you for that comment too. But Damon, other points that you want to make there, and I want to make sure Tim gets a chance to jump into.
Sure, no problem. No problem. But yeah, so I mean, it's just that's pretty much the main thing. And then also too, from the other side of it, I would love to say the fair tax would be a great thing. Because to what you just said about if you think the child tax credit right now is going to be temporary, well, the income tax was temporary, was supposed to be temporary, and that's over 100 plus years ago, and all it's done is gone up. And so when we talk about getting rid of the disincentives, getting the fair tax enacted, I think would give people more money in their pockets and allow them to make the decision. Okay, what do I need to do with my money? For those that don't know what the fair tax is, what it would be is if you make 50,000 gross, you would actually get 50,000 gross, because the main problem we have today in our society is if you make $50,000 a year, that's not what you actually make. What you take home is probably high 30s. So really, if you look at what your expenses are, the money that you really need, quote unquote, to take care of your expenses is within your grasp if you make $50,000. But because of the taxation, a lot of times people have to get a second, maybe a third job. But that money, let's say a minimum wage job, whatever little money you may make with the hours that you have, the take home pay that you have from there was already within your grasp and your main source of income if you were able to make all of it. But again, with all the different deductions and taxes that come out, you're not making $50,000. You're making like high 30s. And so if you get a part-time job, you may make $10,000. And then that's gross. By the time you bring home your net, you're close to making sure your bills are covered, but that money was already within your grasp. And now you're taking time away from your family to have this other job. And so society just loses altogether.
Yeah.
All right, right on. So Tim, I'll shut up and give you a chance to talk this show.
Well, it's fine. And Damon, you're engaging. You're brilliant. I love the way that you look at things. You're very. There's certain issues when we get into ending the welfare system that I think the left somehow gets the emotional win, and I think you're aware of that. I'll kind of touch on this corporate welfare thing, like what Walmart does. A lot of people don't understand what we're talking about. Okay, how they structure their pay rates, and they set up in areas where they have a labor pool. They pay a group of people low wages so that those people can still maximize their income through using government programs and working at Walmart. It's almost insidious. It's almost a hidden corporate welfare. Whereas we take a look at like Amazon and ExxonMobil, where there's direct money transferred to these companies to do certain behaviors, whether it's oil exploration for ExxonMobil or whatever. Those are two different kinds of corporate welfare. The number one way that we can solve this welfare cliff issue that Walmart takes advantage of is maybe we eliminate, instead of UBI, we eliminate the personal income tax. And so all of a sudden now, I think that would have a dramatic positive impact on, number one, the need for welfare. Number two, people being able to take home what they make would be, I just think I see it as a way of countering this goal of corporate welfare. And then the government would still need to collect taxes, right? So they would eliminate some of these obvious incentivized subsidies and welfare that they actually are handing our taxpayer money to these companies like Exxon again. I'm sorry, I'm kind of beating on Exxon, but I know they get a huge amount of money from the government.
No. Beat up Exxon. They're fine. Like they get way too much money. The Exxon banks, Amazon, like, yeah, some of these companies, they get massive amounts of subsidies, either in direct income or in tax incentive deals. I mean, it's a big problem. You know, if you we could do a whole other episode on just like the industrial development agencies that exist in New York State and all the the cronyism that's associated with those, at least in my mind.
Think of as corporate welfare, right? And when we talk about Walmart's hidden corporate welfare, I think we've got to get that message out more. I think that may in fact help. Getting that message out may help solve some of that problem. Walmart's a big fan of the minimum wage too. Let's be honest. It benefits them because they can always pay it. Whereas a mom and pop kind of operation is going to have a much harder time beating a huge salary increase. Whereas Walmart, it's just pennies and nickels and dimes, and they can shave hours here, add a computer checkout there, and still control their labor costs. They have a lot of disproportionate power, and they benefit from minimum wage laws.
Yeah, they absolutely do, and that's part of regulatory capture, which again you can put under the big umbrella of corporate welfare. And one more comment from Doreen, who says that won't even open the agriculture can of worms, that some people know when it comes to corporate style welfare too. Oh man, there's a ton to talk about in agriculture, corporate welfare, and it would be great to open up that can of worms on another episode. We should do a whole thing about that, Tim. Me or you, or Doreen.
We could have Doreen on.
We have to have you on.
Brilliant. She understands the big subsidies that go out to big farms and how that benefits these big, huge farms. And it's one of the reasons why small farms are falling by the wayside and why it's so hard for small farms to keep going, small family farms. And I'll be honest, I lived on a small family farm. People have romanticized the notion of what living on a small family farm is, because it's a brutal existence, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. It's really, really hard work. It's long hours all summer long. It's hard hours in the winter. So a part of me is a little conflicted there.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, thanks folks for listening here on A Free Solution, joined by Damon Kennedy from the Liberty Show and Tim O'Connor, Friday co-host, and me, Kevin Wilson. We'll be back with more on A Free Solution with some Fake News Friday. Be back in a few.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bourne.
And I'm Danica Bourne.
And we're the owners of South Coast Tax. We would like to thank our Lord for protecting us from evil. Psalm 91 states, "He is my refuge and my fortress, for he will rescue us from every trap and protect us from deadly disease."
South Coast Tax are Christian-based tax accountants and attorneys who specialize in releasing bank levies, wage garnishments, and filing complex tax returns. We are the leaders in acceptance of offers and compromise with awesome results.
We are also a small firm who will treat you like family and not just a number.
Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176 for a free consultation, and we'll take the time to explain all of the programs that you qualify for in order to allow you a fresh start.
In John 8:36, so if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. And one way we can achieve that is by being debt-free. So let us help you today. Call us at 1-800-TAX-1176, and together we can help achieve this goal by putting the IRS tax debt behind you for good. Again, that number is 1-800-TAX-1176.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A-plus Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A free solution.
All right, welcome back to A Free Solution. It's Fake News Friday. Joined by our friend from the Liberty Show, Damon Kennedy, and Tim O'Connor. Before we do fake news, I promised Damon I'd let him say one more thing. He wanted to get one more point in, and then we'll do some fake news stuff. Sorry, Damon, take it away.
Yeah, just real quick though, when we talk about the corporate welfare piece, and when it came back to Amazon, I don't know if anybody remembers. It was maybe a year or 2 years ago when Amazon was talking about their second headquarters they wanted to create, and the cities all over the nation were just out trying to outdo each other as far as, no, wait, we can give you this, and then next city was like, no, we can give you this, and so Amazon was just sitting back, just laughing and taking all the way to the bank, looking at all of the cities that were willing and municipalities that were willing to basically give away the farm so that way they could put their headquarters there. And so when we talk about corporate welfare, that's one of the things that we need to be addressing is these perverse tax incentives that you and I aren't able to take part of. Now, if you and I are able to take part of these tax incentives, and like Tim was saying, give the money back to the people, make sure they're able to keep all of their money, then we don't need the social welfare that we've got. But instead, the government backs up the Brinks truck for these large corporations who technically they've got the money. They've got these MBA accounting types that can pinch every penny. Meanwhile, you've got the poor folks who are supposed to pull themselves up by the bootstraps and just figure it out. Well, if anybody should figure it out, shouldn't it be these corporations that have all these people on their accounting team? So that's just kind of what I want to say on that. So I don't want to mess up the fun Friday.
Yeah, no, I mean, great point. Again, we could do a whole other show about that one too, like just about that type of stuff. And in fact, I think I have done whole shows on that topic before. But yes, let's do some fake news Fridays. Have great points you've made there, but I want to get to a fake news headline here because I think it's one I've seen around a whole bunch. And so I'll ask you both: is this something outgoing Governor Andrew Cuomo said? I'm not perverted. I'm just Italian. Is that an actual quote from Andrew Cuomo?
I mean, knowing him, that's got to be real. That's got to be real.
I'm going to go with it's a slight change of his wording. He probably asked people to infer that it was a cultural behavior, and he didn't mean anything by it, but he didn't say that directly.
All right. Yeah, Tim, you got it. So he didn't say it verbatim. He didn't say verbatim, I'm not perverted, I'm just Italian, but I think it's an accurate summary of what he actually said. So I'll read the actual quote where, because the I'm not perverted, I'm just Italian thing came from like a Fox News like description. But what he actually said wasn't really all that much better. He said, I deeply apologize if I offended someone. I have too much confidence with people, men and women. As an Italian, I have always kissed and hugged in a casual way. I've never crossed the line with anyone. So it is an accurate summary, but not a verbatim summary of what Andrew Cuomo said.
We'll rate that as false, but in fact, it's close enough to the truth.
It's mostly true. Yeah, no, that's
mostly true.
That's how I would do it. It's like it is an accurate summary, although not verbatim. Yeah, if you see the Facebook fact checker saying that is false, it's what he actually said was pretty close to that. Andrew Cuomo, glad he's gone. All right.
Good riddance.
Good riddance indeed.
Man. He's not gone. What he has started lives on in our state. I ranted about it for the first segment of my show yesterday. What he has started will live on in New York.
Oh yes, no, there's a lot of mess to clean up. Just the actual guy is going to be not in power anymore, which I will take that small victory and then use that to inspire me to continue undoing his bad policies.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm with you.
All right, so Damon, you had a fake news item.
Yeah, okay. So Tim and Kevin, real or fake? Woman sues McDonald's after burger ad compelled her to break Lent fast. True or false?
I'm gonna say fake.
I'm gonna go with we're a society that blames other people for our misdeeds. It's got to be 100% true, and I'm gonna guess that she actually probably received some sort of settlement for this injury that she received from McDonald's advertising.
Absolutely, Tim is correct. It is a true story.
Oh, I'm 2 for 2.
Oh man!
No,
All
I
right,
can't
so give the details on this.
Okay, I can't even pronounce the lady's name, but I'll skip to the second part of the article. The Russian woman is allegedly suing the fast food chain after claiming that seeing a mouth-watering cheeseburger commercial made her break her fast during Lent. When I saw an advertising banner, I could not help myself. An Orthodox Christian in a court statement regarding the Macreligious Act, according to Russian state media. Now, this was via the New York Post. However, the amount that she's suing McDonald's for may blow your mind. Does anybody want to guess what she's suing the amount she's suing McDonald's for?
I'm gonna go with a Big Mac meal and an apple pie, so around $9 American. I don't know.
Kevin?
It's gonna do like $10 million. It's gonna be ridiculous.
Man, Tim is on it today. Okay, so you're under. So if her price is right, you're under without going over. So you're good. She's suing McDonald's for $14.
$14.
She wants her money back. I admire her sarcastic attempt here. That is amazing. Good for her.
So all right, so she's doing the things that's her like the loss that she received. So $14 pegged it. I mean, I would like to write an advertisement so good one day that someone sues me for it being so good that they couldn't help themselves.
Oh, that would be great. Write an ad for Steak-umm. I'll sue you if I end up eating it. I swear to God, I hate that stuff.
Yep, I'll write an ad for them, and if you eat it, you'll be like, "No, this was so good, I couldn't help myself. You've caused damage to me in some way. My fault." All right, yeah, good find there. That's wild that she would sue McDonald's over there. Macreligious. That's hilarious. Good pun.
I got to apologize, right? I don't have a fake news situation. And usually I could even make one up on the spot, but I am just so under the gun you got to work to make a living sometimes. It's crazy. It seems so unfair. I would love to do this stuff all day, every day. Unfortunately, that's not the reality.
Oh, well, one day maybe you'll be able to quit your job. Sorry, we only have a couple minutes left, and I came prepared. I'll carry you guys. It's fine. So I got a couple other ones out. So the headline is racist boulder removed from University of Wisconsin-Madison campus. Real news, real headline, or a fake headline?
Oh man, in today's society, man, it's got to be real. We're gonna go with it. Somebody really got offended, and instead of, I gotta say real.
Yeah, I actually am familiar, so I'm not gonna answer this one. I'm gonna beg off this one.
All right. Well, Damon, you're right. It is a real story. They are actually removing a boulder from the University of Wisconsin Madison campus. Someone called the boulder the N-word 100 years ago in a newspaper article, and now that boulder is being removed as part of the racist history of University of Wisconsin. Apparently, not sure.
Well, hold on. Is it written on the rock or
no? It's not. Someone just said it in a newspaper article once, 100 years ago. So it's not like written on anything. It's not like there wasn't a history of like something bad happening there. Just someone used the N-word associated with that rock 100 years ago.
This is liberalism going way too far, and this is what gives conservatives reason to feel like they should be winning the culture war. But anyway, whatever.
All right. Yeah. Well, thanks again for joining us on today's show, Damon, and of course Tim, being here every Friday. All right, appreciate y'all. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back with more on A Free Solution next Monday. Take care.